Good morning. Another one of those nights where I didn't get much sleep. Maybe 2 hours. Maybe. Been awake since about 2:15, actually. And I was still awake midnight-ish. And I went to bed at 10 o'clock, but I didn't go to sleep. Anyway, different title today. Different kind of, every day's a different title, but 2012, Gordon Hall, Law equals Contract. My friend Neil recommended that I listen to Gordon Hall last week. I was too busy preparing my response to my unlawful arrest. I did not have time Monday, of course, or I did not have time. Monday, of course, I filed my response. Yesterday, I began preparation for my next step. In the afternoon, another friend, Phil, sent me a link to a Gordon Hall video saying, "Ron, I think it is imperative that you listen to this. I am confident that you will benefit." I did listen, and I am benefiting. He begins with two questions. Do I want to live under man, or do I want to live under God? Here's the link. Now I need to correct something because I left a word out. And if I don't put it in now, I might forget later. Anyway, another interesting thing happened, and before I even get into talking about Gordon Hall, I'm going to hold up this paper here from the Bankruptcy Court, which is a notice of hearing. Okay, that's the title, notice of hearing. They want a hearing on July the 12th at 2 p.m. in the afternoon in Orlando. What I really found fascinating with this is that initially, and it still does, it shows the motion against the debtors. And it had me listed as debtor. Okay, trustee and debtor. Below that thing, it has a new document that I filed, and it said affidavit of truth filed by creditor Ronald Van Dyke, document number 20. So in the same document here, I went from being, in initial filing, a debtor to being recognized by the Bankruptcy Court as a creditor. That may take on more significance as I talk about Gordon Hall. I thought, when I first clicked on the thing, I didn't really look at the title. I thought, oh, it's only an hour, I can give it an hour. When the hour was up, he ended in the middle of a sentence, or it was in the middle of it. And I noticed, oh, there's a part 2. Actually, there's 17 parts. Each one of them is about an hour, and I listened to 6 of them. That means I spent about 6 hours yesterday afternoon into the evening, up until I went to bed, listening to Gordon Hall. Now, Gordon Hall talks about attitudes. A sovereign, a free man, is a particular attitude, someone that chooses to live under God. And I'll talk more about that later. Gordon says whenever anybody makes a claim, courts exist because people can't settle their differences. And whenever anyone ever makes a claim against anyone else, there are 4 ways that you can respond. And we have responsibility, respondability. There are only 4 ways we can respond. There's 4 doors. of claim response, as he calls it. Number one, silence. We can ignore it, not do anything at all. That means we agree. If we're silent, we're in agreement. It also means we're dishonoring. Someone just gave us a communication and we didn't bother responding to it. That's dishonor. And automatically, when you're in dishonor, you're automatically a debtor. Or to put it in religious terms, you're a sinner. Same thing. Same thing. Just for your information. And I'm saying that. Gordon didn't say that. Number two, acceptance. You accept it and you agree. Then you're a creditor. You're a free man. You're a sovereign. You're acting in the capacity of a sovereign because you've accepted what they've said. Okay, you're right. Okay, I recognize your claim as valid. I accept it. Number three, conditional acceptance, counter offer, counterclaim. I agree if you can show me proof of claim. That's a creditor. That's what I did to the bankruptcy court. I asked for proof of claim. Okay, show me the claim. That was what my affidavit of truth was. Show me the claim. I don't believe you have a claim, but if I'm wrong, show it to me. The court recognized me as a creditor. I was in honor. I was recognizing the claim and saying, prove it. I recognized their notice, and I said, prove your claim. Number four, argument. Argument, you're always in dishonor when you're arguing the point. Debtors argue the point. Sinners argue, well, I'm right. I'm right. The sinner too, you know. It's interesting that in the claim over the arrest, they made a claim and I responded, and they dishonored my response by arresting me. They were in dishonor. Then they arrested me and they made threats to me. Threats are always dishonor. They are in dishonor. I made veiled threats back. I was in dishonor. And yet, in addition to making a threat back, I gave them an opportunity to prove their claim. So I acted in the same response that I filed on Monday. I acted both as a debtor in portions of it and as a creditor. It was a mixed response. Now, after listening to Gordon Hall for 6 hours, I realized that I have to have another response in addition to what I've already responded for clarification purposes, so that I can give them a chance to move into honor and I take my opportunity to move into an honorable position, accepting their claim on the condition of proof. I get it, Gordon. And I understand why Neil and Phil felt that it was so important that I listened to this. Now, Gordon is one of the creditors and commerce people. I listened to a lot more of Brandon, actually, than Gordon. But I have heard Gordon before, back when I spent many, many hours in creditors and commerce. And I don't agree with everything creditors and commerce say. I don't agree with everything Gordon said. He believes that 9/11 was justified and that the government is doing an excellent job of, it's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. And it's okay that the government commits fraud. It's what it's set up to do. It's not set up, it's set up to protect debtors, sinners, and make the world somewhat safe, except for creditors that want to be free and are still learning to test their wings and getting tried all the time, every step of the way, by a system that seems very unjust to me And I don't believe in justifying the acts of government and the acts of corporations and banks, as Gordon seems to do. I don't buy that. I never did buy that about creditors in commerce. They seem to justify evil and make excuses for it because everything is according to right of conscience, or consciousness, I should say. And there's truth in that. There's truth in that, but it's not an absolute truth. Because sometimes there are tests. And I think that my arrest was a test. I partially passed and I partially failed because I hadn't completely learned the lesson yet. I'm still learning. Why am I sharing all of this with you? I'm sharing it as I've been sharing daily. I'm showing you a process of awakening in my own life. I'm showing you what it's like to be angry, and holy Moses, I'm going to let it burn, I guess. Wow, that is really quite the flame. I'm showing you a process of discovery, a process of awakening. You see me when I'm angry because I don't get it, because I'm struggling to understand. I'm struggling to see and to gain clarity. And I share that with you. And then as I gain clarity, I share that with you. It's interesting that the videos that seem to get the most hits are videos where there's controversial names in it, David Wilcock or Drake or Bill Brockbrader. And some of the ones that I have the most deep spiritual insights, I don't get a whole lot of hits. I don't know that that matters, but it's interesting to watch. Because most people still don't get it. They don't get what's really important. I've had people say, well, talk about the free man stuff. That's really what I'm interested in. And then others say, just talk about the spiritual stuff. So I've got people that are friends on both sides. Some want the practical part, or the down-to-earth part, you might say, and some want the heavenly part. But they're together. They're the same thing. That's what I'm trying to get people to see. And that's what Spirit's trying to get me to see. It's all the same thing. Wow. It's all the same thing. This is light. This is light. Okay? This is truth. It's all interconnected. That's what Gordon is saying. And law equals contract. When he sees the word law, everything in our world is contract. God made a contract with man. And he first said, these are the rules. I know you're not going to be able to keep them, but I'm giving you these rules so that you have a standard to measure yourself by. The 10 Commandments, if you will. And then Jesus brought grace and truth. And he says, neither do I condemn you. Go and stop sinning. Stop being a debtor. Take responsibility. Don't live like that anymore. Wake up. Remember who you are. Gordon says it's all about knowing who you are. When you know who you are, when you know where you live, you're not your name. You don't live in any country. You live in your body. The you that is you lives in your body. You are not your body. You live in your body. You inhabit your body. That's your country. That's your nation. He didn't say that. I'm saying that. He said his country is California, because that's really his country, not the United States. He says the United States can't be your country because it's a corporation. It's de facto. It pretends to be real, but it's false, because you don't know who you are, and false can only rule over other falsehoods. It deals in falsehoods. Corporations deal in falsehoods. The monetary system deals in falsehoods. And we're all trapped in falsehoods because we don't know who we are. Anyway, in 2012, we're waking up. I'm waking up. Yesterday was a day of enlightenment and clarity, which is what I had prayed for the night before. I didn't get it. till later in the day. Margie called me and I argued with her. She was sharing her experience at the workshop she went to over the weekend. She's going to be here tonight to do the love line, and I'm looking forward to being surrounded by love. That was the Tut's message for the day. You got a lot of love coming to you. Well, yeah, it's tonight. Anyway, thank you for listening. I appreciate each of you. And I'm so glad that so many of us are waking up. Namaste.